one of the biggest summer movies out there. But when you have a movie like The Avengers, which is part of something else, something bigger, does that make your job easier because you have things you don't have to answer, that you can set up as well as pay off?
Yeah, easier and harder. I mean, there's restrictions, and but yeah, a lot of the questions have already been answered. So it's going in, you've got what you've got to work with. So it's a bit of a comfort, actually.
Yes, please jump in here on the right.
Hi there. I've got a question for my son who's 10 years old for the Avengers. He would like to know, before you start filming the movies, what's the thing you get most excited about?
All the Avengers.
All the Avengers, if that's okay.
I'm starting?
Yeah, just
okay. I get most excited by cooking and eating. Okay. Renner?
I'm excited about hanging out with these degenerates.
Wait, is it? I'm sorry, I skipped my turn.
No training here. We're in
Coming back to the world and seeing where these crazy people that we're playing are headed, and knowing that that Joss is going to take us there into his own twisted psyche.
Probably my first costume fitting, me surrounded by many full-length mirrors.
I'll say a similar response to Jeremy. Marvel does a great job of bringing a lot of the same people together, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera. So coming back together as a group, it kind of feels like a family. It's a lot of familiar faces. It's like a high school reunion or something.
I didn't understand the question.
Yeah, as soon as you said cooking, I was like, she doesn't get it. She misheard.
Watching you eat. So upset because nobody else does. I guess I would say I get most excited about reading Joss's script because it's so it's like it's the big payoff after a long wait, and also all of the letters that
The cover letters.
yeah, the cover letters before the scripts are just
Good as the movie.
yeah, they're so delightful and self-deprecating and kind of
Lots of suicide.
yeah. So that's my favorite part.
I'm just excited to be, to be a part of it, and Joss brought me along on this journey and to this fantastic group of actors.
Box office bonuses.
Jump here at the right time. Wait, are they coming before the movie starts shooting now?
And by the way, you got box office bonuses?
Right, gents and ladies, we've got the Avengers assembled in London. I've got to say, if someone asks me, what do you think of Avengers Age of Ultron? Fantastic. But if I answered the question as Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., I'd probably say, not bad, could be better. But good movie. Two questions. One is Joss Whedon. Ultron was a great villain. Was that an easy decision to make, to cast Ultron as the main villain, or was it a long thinking process?
No, I said we should have Ultron in the second movie before I decided to make the first movie. He's big, he's powerful, he's angry, he's metal, he's strong enough to take these guys on, and he's been angry for so long that I think he might be a little unhinged. I can write that.
And my second question is, you guys inspire a lot of people around the world. If you go across the panel, when you guys were growing up, who inspired you? Who are your big idols? I'm intrigued.
Should we start with Paul and work our way back down again?
John Lennon.
Inspired me in what way? In like characters? Or?
Yeah, within cinema, outside cinema.
I think Gary Oldman's my sort of inspirations.
Sorry, and Gary Oldman.
Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing.
I think we can all agree with that.
I was gonna go like a different way. I was gonna say my old man.
Oh.
I was gonna say to me that's who I am as a man. That comes first. So.
Peter O'Toole.
It'd have to be Gandhi.
Ben Kingsley.
And Ben Kingsley.
I would have to say my pop.
Michelle Pfeiffer and Faye Dunaway.
Oh yeah, you definitely
Yeah, those were the girls I liked.
your work.
Yeah,
And Joss, that's pretty you as well. Who inspired you?
Chris Evans' dad. I just didn't know anything else. Sure, feeling his presence.
Next question is a lady in the fourth row with her hand up, please.
Hi, I've got a question for the girls. How empowering does it feel to play two female superheroes in such a male-dominated universe? And I suppose you had a bit more prominence compared to the first movie. Was that intentional, Joss?
I'm different. What? Compared to the first?
There seemed to be more prominence of the female characters in this one compared to the first one. Was that intentional? And how did people like Scarlett and Elizabeth feel about that? How empowering did it feel?
How empowering is it?
Like big characters in a male-dominated universe.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I was just, I just go through the script and skip through and see, oh, Black Widow, there she is, and there she is again. Those are the only parts I but what's great about playing this character is that she's based in, something deep and something that I could hold on to. She's grounded in something very real, which is, this kind of, I think she has experienced a lot of trauma, and she is, she's never really been able to be, to kind of make active choices for herself, and now she finally is. Now she's ready for it, and unfortunately, it's just kind of bad timing. But these kinds of things are something that we can hold onto, so that when we're fighting the good fight and shooting 5/8 of a page over 2 weeks, it kind of keeps us involved and keeps our head straight. So that's I'm looking at it just from an actor looking for material that's something that I that's substantial, not just a female actor looking for substantial work. But thanks, Joss.
Anytime.
And Elizabeth?
I mean, I'm just still thrilled just to be part of this whole group and world. It's a franchise that I've been watching since the first Iron Man, and I think they've just made and I mean they make such great films that have such a balance of depth and humor and action, and that's given, but they're all humans that have weaknesses and strengths, and especially in this film, I think there's a special highlight on everyone's own personal worlds and lives and what makes them human. So I think that's what makes this film so great, and it's just amazing to be part of this cast. It's mind-boggling.
Let's jump in here in the front row.
I'm sorry, it's been 15 minutes since my last one.
Jimmy.
Hi guys, great movie. A couple of questions for Joss. What's next for you apart from a long rest? And do you see yourself returning to the Marvel Universe one day?
I don't think I'll ever get that far away from it because I love it so much. After my long rest, I plan a longer rest and possibly an eternal rest. I have no immediate plans, which is the best thing I've ever said.
Yes, please. Jump in. Pink shirt, about 6 rows back. Thank you.
Hi, I've got a question for Scarlett. Obviously, your character could have easily just been kind of written off as the sexy one of the team. How important is it that?
Really? Have you seen Chris Hemsworth?
How important is it for you that she's actually smart as well as hot? And are you livid that there's not a Black Widow film yet?
How important is what?
That she's really intelligent as well as being sexy. And are you angry that there's not a Black Widow film in the works yet?
Yes, I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, I think one of the really, I think one of the qualities in the widow that I love and am interested in is that she, she's, when faced with this kind of, she's kind of put in the work, and she's, I feel like she's at a place where she's able to, kind of maybe do something for herself and make this, kind of maybe even have a relationship with somebody, maybe even open up in that way. There's this kind of greater calling, that's pulling her, and she very selflessly chooses that, and it's heroic in a big way, in a small way. She's really kind of in herself, which is interesting because she also plays a character that's very, she also actually does play her. She's very kind of slippery fish for her job. But when you get her, Natasha, she's in herself, which is kind of cool. And she's in her sexy self. Yeah, a Black Widow movie, that would be cool. I'm always happy to put the cat suit back on. Get in front of all those mirrors, just like Robert and that. From your lips to Marvel's big pocketed ears.
My question is to all of the Avengers. Other than your own characters, who do you all think had the most interesting story arc in Age of Ultron?
Should we start from the middle this time? With Mr. Downey.
Whose arc do we like besides our own, correct? Hawkeye's got a heck of an arc this time. Yeah. And also, I think I can say from us who have gone before that the arcs of what happens, obviously Paul has a very interesting turn, and also with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, I feel like Paul and Lizzie and Aaron came out and they exceeded expectations out of kind of left, right, and center field, and I feel like in watching the film, I was like, wow, that's in some ways is the big triumph of the film.
I liked Scarlet and Ruffalo. You see a lot of nice intimate moments. It was just nice seeing, it was nice seeing the intimate moments between Scarlet and Ruffalo, this kind of like challenged relationship among a team of superheroes where you don't really get to see romance, especially within the group.
That's right.
What?
You're up, Scarlett.
I thought Joss's arc was really interesting.
Yeah, I probably agree with Chris. I think I love to see. It was great to dive into Mark Ruffalo's character. I think in Hulk, and to see such a sensibility in that beast, and I think it was quite an emotional journey in this one. So.
Hawkeye, I love that. For me, it was really the heart of the movie. I found it really moving. And he's fantastic in it. So there you go.
Let's go back the other way, Mr. Ruffalo.
I would also have to say that Hawkeye's storyline I found great as an actor who is often away from home fighting imaginary evil guys. And a wife who's at home saying, "Where the hell are you? And why aren't you here?" I really find that I'm very sympathetic to that. No, it's your storyline. So you already know. You're bored.
I'm bored. No, I like them all. I'm not going to pick one out. I mean, I think it's a huge testament to Joss to be able to write a movie to put all of these characters that are all extremely interesting and flawed and fantastic. And I think it's like a chessboard, and you think you need all these pieces for any of them to make sense. And I'm just very appreciative that we're able to dive deep into the characters a little bit more.
You should totally have picked me though, because I picked you.
Is this what it's like on set? No, some of them are paying attention.
I feel like I help you wrangle things.
He does. He helps.
Sometimes.
Right. Back to you, Olson.
Yeah, the Scarlet Ruffalo through line I love, and my favorite moment is the first time we watch Black Widow talk down the Hulk. I just think that's such a beautiful moment in the entire film. I've seen that moment twice, and it's I think that's one of my favorite parts of the film.
We're just going to work our way through the entire cast.
Sexist.
Slippery slope, guys.
Let's move on to it. Just saying I can change my density.
It's a question for Joss. The Avengers films are like Marvel's Super Bowl, really. And how much of a constraint is that to you as a writer to hit certain beats, make $1 billion? And as a follow-up, how far do you think the superhero genre still has to go?
Well, I don't. If I had a key on my computer that said $1 billion, I would press it. I just try to write it as well as I can. I don't really think about those things. Restrictions, as I said before, are sometimes frustrating, sometimes very useful because the page is not so blank. Sorry, what's the second one?
How far do you think the genre still has to go? I mean, there's so many films being planned at the moment.
Well, the thing I loved about Marvel Comics is the thing I love about what Kevin Feige is doing with Marvel Universe, which is he approaches every movie as a completely new idea, as a movie of some particular genre that happens to have superheroes in it. He's not interested in creating a formula, he's interested in creating a universe. So as long as he can stay alive, which is I think probably a few months more, I think it has legs. As long as somebody who really cares is at the head, trying to create new versions of a superhero movie and not just fall into a pattern, then it can sustain for quite a while.
All of you actors are very famous also for character-driven parts. And I just wonder if you approach a part like an Avenger differently, if it's an action movie. Do you have more fun, or is it the same kind of work?
It may be a little different. In an action film, there may not be as many tangible opportunities to play off of as an actor. Some actors where the reality is a little more grounded, given the environment you're in and the character you're playing off of. You may have something more to kind of pull from. In a movie like this, you may be sitting on a green screen or talking with a tennis ball. But I think everyone up here has a very healthy imagination. I think everyone up here grew up running around in their backyard with a cape around their neck. So it's a different muscle. But I think it's a very similar approach. That one too.
Well,
Can we all agree that Evans is on fire? Evans, you're on damn fire.
Oh man, that'd be rad.
And Chris, you were the only one sitting around talking to a tennis ball. We know it comforts you, but it's a little weird.
There's a gentleman here in the fourth row. Thank you. It's a question for Mark and for Joss, really. Just kind of considering where Hulk ends up at the end of the film, which shouldn't be a spoiler for anyone here. Do you kind of take that as suggesting that Hulk's going to disappear for a while, or that he's going to kind of come back in a bigger way in future?
Do you want to tell him?
No, you go.
Sorry.
It's too amazing.
There's a gentleman here in the second row on the very, very left.
Hi, I just really want to thank you guys for being a constant form of inspiration and escapism for me ever since I was 10, 7 years ago. But also, my question is actually aimed at Jeremy. I was wondering, you weren't too happy with the way that Hawkeye was displayed in the first film, as far as it's been reported anyway, but I was wondering, I know your part's been expanded in this film, but would there be any comic book storyline, or in fact any storyline at all that you'd like to adapt with that character?
I don't really read comics, so I can't answer that part of it. I let writers that know what they're doing do that. I'm trying to do what I gotta do. Yeah, and this one, I was so happy. I remember talking about, I'm not going to talk about specifically what happens in this movie, but the ideas of what are in this movie. I remember sitting with Downey and Joss and Ruffalo talking about some really cool ideas, and they were able to implement them in this one. It was actually very, very, very exciting. And very thankful.
There's a lady in the front row.
Thank God my arms were really aching. I'd like to ask Paul about his character in the film, because you've been part of the Marvel Universe since Iron Man, which was the first in this little thing. What's it like now being physically on screen and not just a voice?
Hot.
And by the way, my friends really fancied you as the Vision, which is a little bit weird.
Well, that's really hot. I do that one really quickly. It was lovely, it was lovely to finally be on set with a bunch of people that I've been supposedly working with for 10 years but haven't really met. And so that was nice. It's a double-edged sword. Initially, my job was turning up at the end of the movie with the superhero power that if anything was still unclear, I could clarify it by just talking. And then it would take 2 hours and they'd give me a big bag of cash. And then I would go home, and I couldn't imagine that the contract could ever be better, than that. But it was a dream. Honestly, everybody was so welcoming. There were a bunch of really lovely, happy, well-paid actors. That's a nice environment to work in.
You got a big bag of cash?
Well, when I was doing the voice, it seemed like a big bag of cash to me.
Box office bonuses, big bag of cash. You've done well out of this. We have time for one last question from the gentleman right at the very, very back. Can you keep your hand up there, sir, on the very, very left? On the camera podium. He's waving his hands frantically. Now he's jumping up and down. Right. Yes. There we go. That's him.
Excuse the delay. It's Tom Westerholt, German Public Radio. Question to Joss. Maybe you could clean up with some whatever rumor or hoax past couple of days. The scene at the credits, man cleaning the windows, Spider-Man in the back.
Yeah, that's not real. I don't know where that started. It is not, in fact, part of the movie, and I don't know who came up with it. We wanted to be clear that there was no tag scene at the very, very end of the film, because after sitting through 40 minutes of credits and not seeing anything, we thought people would become irate. So, no, I don't know where that started.
The short one to Robert Downey Jr. Short one, okay. Last one, or no?
Okay, very quick, yeah.
Okay, why again did your trailer park at the shooting have the same size as everybody else's trailers together again? I read about that.
So the question about the film, because we want to have a question about the film, ideally. If not, we're going to bring it all to an end. That's it, on that definitive bombshell. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the link on the screen now.